So, how's it going? It's been a while since I've done one of these, huh? Let's get to it. Well, looks like we need to have a little conversation. So why don't we get to it? So, today, in case you haven't noticed, we're going to be talking Baitcaster. Now, this guy right here, it's really dusty. Yes, using my name, I know. This is a weighted hook, by the way. But this guy, right here, Gambling Lure, green pumpkin craw. It's actually a burner craw, but green pumpkin style, I should say. Gonna get ready to hook this guy up in the correct hook set, way he's supposed to be. Then we're gonna take this guy, get ready to hook him up weedless. That way, that's just ready to eat him. He's ready to do so. Haven't used this thing in a long time. Now, with Baitcaster, one thing that you have to understand, a lot of people make mistakes with Baitcaster. And here's what I mean by mistakes. They're trying to use their arm like this instead of their wrist. And that's where backlashes come into play. I've had many people telling me, oh, that lure don't work. Oh, that Baitcaster don't work. Oh, this don't work. Oh, that don't work. It's a piece of crap. I'm taking it to the pawn shop. All because they don't know what they're doing. Now, with Baitcaster, this is real simple. With Baitcaster, you want to take this lure, get this in frame with me out of the way. Stand up here. You want to take this lure, and I have the thing cranked to the max. Okay, you want to take this thing until it just begins to drop. This is mostly all the way tight. I have it just below the rock. Have my brake. This is very important now. Your brake needs to be set on a good number. For this reel, because this reel is a 621, I'll leave my brake at about 7 or 8, just for right now, just for safety's sake, just to make sure it works like it's supposed to. And now we're going to take this, and we're going to go make some casts with it. We haven't cast this reel in a long time. Make a little cast here. Get something out there. All right, if you notice the way my hand is here, so I'm reeling this weedless green pumpkin weighted lure back in. If you notice the way my hand is, my thumb is right there on the action. Now this here is a Fluger Alero. This is one of my older reels that I'm probably going to give to someone eventually. This rod is an older rod I'm probably going to give to someone eventually. It's not a bad little setup. It's just a basic. This is a 7-foot fast action rod. Line weight of 10 to 20 pounds. And whenever you're out here casting, you want to make sure that you're casting. Now, let me back up so you can see me. When you're casting, you want to make sure you're doing enough to get this lure out there on the water to make sure you're making a difference with your casts. Watch my frog rod behind here. All right. Backlash City, see that? I didn't have it set right. Now, one thing that's crucial to get a backlash out is not to rush or be in a hurry. It's crucial to take your time. Do this the right way, you're out of your backlash pretty quick. Do it the wrong way, you're gonna be doing your backlash a little bit longer than you had anticipated. Getting out of a backlash, and this is gonna be completely, totally honest with you, it is going to happen. Never say that can't happen to me, because yes, it can. And the main reason, and see, here's what you don't do. See how I'm just running and gun this thing? That's what you don't do. Now, I always want to make sure, and I'll do this on camera where you can see it, because a lot of YouTubers don't. You want to take your wad. I've old line that cut itself off. Sorry for that ramble fest that was. We're going to take that, and we're going to chuck it. Okay. Now that we've thrown that away, I can start shedding this long sleeve pullover. And I'm going to oil this reel up, because I think that's part of the problem. It's not got any kind of lubrication on it. It has no oil, and I don't know when. It just sits in the corner taking the space on my rod holder. All right, let's get to it. Get in here and get my oil. I used to work at a company called Forward Parts, but they closed our end of the building down. I wanted this, so I bought the 2 remaining bottles of it. I have one in my big blue bag, and I have one in my ugly stick bag that this phone is propped up against, as I'm filming an iMovie. We're going to take the cap off here. First start going willy-nilly. Take this guy here, add a few drops into this area here. Some areas that can use some oil. Just to really get that going in there. Add a few drops of oil in that, and that should have that thing plenty lubricated. Now we're going to take some real butter, and I'm going to be applying this straight in here. All right. This is one of the most easiest ones to get in there. As my other bait casters, I kind of have to work at it, as I'm usually standing up when I'm putting real butter on there. Got some people here walking their doggies. So now that I've done that, now I can get back to what I was doing before I got so
like the one in Missoula
rudely interrupted by my reel being stupid. I obviously am not going to give this reel to someone as long as it's having backlashes and other crap happening to it. I'm not going to do that. I'm not that kind of person. I think this reel would probably work best with monofilament, which is great for doing poppers, frogs, spiders, rats, you name it, topwater. I have all the above. I have got a duck, but my duck got swiped up by a pike one time, ate one of the feet off, and I need to get him replaced eventually. My son loves to see the duck. His name's Danny the Duck. I'm making content again for the first time since 2018, as you can see, as I've had requests for me to get back to doing it. One of the reasons why I stopped on YouTube is you get kind of in this spot of, is what I'm doing even getting out there? I mean, the only viral videos I have ever had were my mountain bike videos I used to make. Those were my viral ones. Fishing ones, I rarely had over 65 people watching it. Rarely. Whereas the bicycle ones were like 10,000 and up. One of the downsides to doing YouTube, you are going to get your haters that have never really done anything with their life. They're going to make comments to you about what you're doing, but they're not doing anything themselves, so they have to tear you down to make themselves feel better about themselves. And that's the way haters on YouTube work. I'm going to work this just a little bit differently than I was before. See if I have a little bit different effect. Now, fluoro is notorious for having memory in it, as is mono. They will get memory in them from time to time and they'll act up. Now we're going to rig this thing up. Try to hook myself. But this hook is very, very sharp. I like these hooks. These are the kind of hook you can Texas rig without having to use the top weight. Some in the fishing world may disagree with me on that, but it's like Texas rigging. I'm from Texas, and I'm rigging, so in a way, it is Texas rigging. I've lived in Idaho for the past 13 years, and still going strong. If I had my way, I'd probably be living in Montana now. That's just my wish. Recently went on vacation to Montana with a wife and expressed to her that I would really like to move to Kalispell eventually. Kalispell, Montana is one of my favorite places to go. We spent quite a bit of time in Kalispell when we were there. They went out to Glacier, went out to Whitefish, passed through Columbia Falls. It was a good time. If you have time, head out to Pole Bridge. It's out in the middle of nowhere, and you won't be sad you did. So basically, whenever you're working a baitcaster, you want to get this just where it's beginning to fall. Now I have this thing cranked up hot. See how it's not moving? Just where it falls. If you're new to baitcaster, practice this a lot. Hopefully I don't have any more backlash issues. I'm going to use a way lighter test on this next time. Yeah, that's how you get a spool to look like that. It should look like that always on your baitcaster. If you have a backlash, again, put a piece of electrical tape over your backlash so it can't backlash anymore. If you have to pull a backlash out when you're not using a piece of tape, be careful how many threads you're pulling out. Be very gentle in doing it. You don't want to jam it up. If you're using braid, you want to use monofilament backing behind that braid. I use it on every braided line I've got. Well, that's all I have for now. You have fun. And as always, fish on.